again by our People and Politics correspondent Nick Martin, and also the care campaigner Terry Galloway as well, who Nick's just been describing as the man who is like the campaigner keeping the government on its toes on these issues.
Yeah, and Terry can speak for his own experiences in a moment. I think this review that's being launched by the government, you can't knock it. It's certainly a positive thing, and I think it has been borne out of not just our reporting, but the figures themselves. You know, we've obtained new figures that show that care leaver deaths are going in the wrong direction. You know, now more than 2 a week are dying as care leavers. That just cannot be acceptable, and the system needs root and branch overhaul. I think part of the problem is that sense of abandonment that care leavers feel at 18 when the system kicks them out. All the support is lost. We've got to try and get away from that and feel like care leavers have some kind of life after care where they can feel nurtured and supported, just as our children, that my children would feel post-18. I just don't push them out into the world and leave them. So I think that we'll see what happens with this review, but I think the government know that this is a problem that they cannot ignore anymore.
Terry, what do you think of this review?
I do welcome it, but it's not needed. The government know exactly what's going on, in particular Josh McAllister. He did the independent review, children's social care. He knows exactly what's going on. If it can do anything, if it can put into the public consciousness exactly what's happening, then that's a great thing. But the actual tangible things that the government need to do, they know exactly what they need to do. My family, my sister, she was in the care system, I was in the care system, my brother was in the care system. Both of them had children that have gone into the care system, and both of them are dead right now. You know, care experienced people are 70% more likely to die prematurely than any other group in society. We live 20 years less, and it has to stop. These numbers, whatever the government are saying, 105 numbers, they are vastly, grossly underestimated. You know, care leavers are dying absolutely every day, and we're not basically sitting up and taking notice, and that's what we need to do.
I honestly, all of these figures just astonish me. I feel like if it was any other group of people in our society who had the life expectancy difference that you're talking about there, we'd be out on the streets marching about it every day. And it's everything, isn't it? You know, we've spoken about it, you know, prisons, homelessness...
Yeah. We are talking about children. Yeah. We are talking about the most vulnerable people in society that we seem to think is acceptable to let go on their own at 18, live in somewhere on their own, give them £50 a week for groceries and expect that life to continue normally. It just doesn't stack up.
And also look at the background that they've had as well. It's not like they've just been, you know, a stable home, the same family, mum and dad there, and then at 18 you go your own way. They've been moving around, they've had all kinds of...
What's happening is we're leaving the care system and we're just getting re-traumatised because of the barriers. Now, care experienced people feel isolated, and that's one of the reasons for deaths. They're committing suicide. Now, the national average, the general population, 7% of the UK population feel isolated. Now, if the government asked care leavers that very same question, they would probably find that it's 60 or 70%, you know, and because they're not asking that question, that's why it's not in the public domain. So what I've just done recently is I've been working with the Department of Culture, Media and Sport, and for the first time we're asking, in a survey that they're doing of 208,000 people in England, are you care experienced? Now, I shouldn't, as a campaigner, have to be knocking on every single government department and asking them to just sit up and take notice and listen and hear the voice of care experienced people. They should be doing that systematically.
When you said at the start that it's obvious what the government should be doing, we don't need this review as much as you welcome the review, what are the obvious steps?
We need to make care experience a protected characteristic, because if we make it a protected characteristic, then that will be added into equality impact assessments. So whenever a system, a service, any public money is spent or any decision is made right across Whitehall, right across local government, they will have to think about the impact that decision or service has on care experienced people. And until they do that, we're not going to get a change.
So in the same way that gender or ethnicity would be factored into any plan that the government or local government has, Terry's argument is that the very fact that you are care experienced should also be built into how we employ people, where we build sports centres, how we give children access to colleges. Care experience should be at the heart of all the decisions that we make, just like race or ethnicity or gender is at the moment. And I have to say, though, Terry, you are getting quite a bit of pushback from the government about this. It's not something that they're saying, yeah, it's a great idea, we're going to do it.
Well, it's ironic because Josh, you know, I worked with Josh before he was a politician, and he made it a recommendation. But now he's in government. The government are still saying exactly the same thing as what the last government has said, and they're not looking to do it because they think it's going to be unmanageable. And they're rolling through with corporate parenting. But you need both, because you need a mechanism to change that culture and to make that change.
What's your message to Josh, then?
The message to Josh is keep working with me. He is. To be fair to him, I know for a fact he cares, you know, but obviously he's working within the constraints of Whitehall and so forth. But let's just keep working together and just let's get this done, because we shouldn't be waiting any longer.
We are out of time, but I did just want to ask a little bit about your own experience, and I'll be led by you on this. You mentioned, obviously, your family before, and, you know, we've spoken to care leavers before in this programme who have talked about moving around the whole time, like not having the sense of a parent or mum and dad on their side no matter what. I just wondered if you wanted to just really explain, I guess, what it is like growing up in care.
It's hard. By the time I'd left care, I'd lived in over 100 places.
100 places?
Over 100 places. I just wanted to be with my mum, but the social care, and they were probably right, they didn't want me to do that. I kept running away. You know, I was placed into foster care early on and abused in the care system, and then I told the social services and they didn't believe me. My sister was abused. You know, nowadays it's a lot safer, but earlier, you know, when I was in care, it wasn't safe at all. But kids, they're counting down. Right now, there's children, 16, 17 years old, and they're not counting and looking forward to being 18. They're counting down to when all that scaffolding is removed and they're alone and isolated. And that's exactly what Nanita did. She counted down. She told social care how she was going to die, and she told them that she would be going in front of a train, and then what did they do? They moved her into supported accommodation near some train tracks.
Yes,
now, how is that a good system?
It's not. Terry, thank you for shining a light on it and all the work you do. Nick, likewise, thanks so much.